Make sure that the lights are all good. Oh, this one would help. Hey! Yay, now I'm well lit. I was like, why is there so much shadow going on here? And it's because I forgot the light right in front of me. That is, hopefully that is not foreshadowing for how the rest of this is gonna go. Hi everybody, in case you're wondering what I'm wearing right now, this is Vaughn, which will be released this month, whenever it arrives and we do the quality checks. As Kathleen and Serene and Susie, if she comes in here, can kind of testify to, I'm taking these quality checks really, really seriously, and if I need a second opinion, I'm reaching out to people and I'm like, hey, take a look at this, what do you think? And they're letting me know. So when this one arrives, we want to do kind of like the same thing, get some feedback, and then we will put it up for sale. But this is what it looks like in the Moonlit Orchid. I am super, super tickled with how this one turned out. This is actually one that is blunt cut. Like the edge is very blunt all the way in the back too. And it's poker straight. This one also has a long bang. So everybody who's been saying, hey, I wish you came out with a wig with longer bangs. Oh, we did that. This one does have a little bit of permatease in it too, kind of like Felix. So the cap construction is really comparable to what you'll get on the Felix wig. It's just obviously the hair texture is different. And the cut itself is different. This is one where we actually like contracted a master cosmetologist. And I was like, here's this image from Pinterest. I love this. Can you please take, and in this case, it was a whiteout by Hairdo. I was like, can you take this whiteout and make it look like this picture? That's what we got. So
let's see. Cheryl says, love the skunks.
Oh, thank you.
AW asks, is the back of the neck shorter than the front?
Oh yeah, big time. Because I wanted to kind of keep friction to a minimum since this is heat friendly. So like, especially since this is so straight, I didn't want it to clump up. In the curly wigs, you can get away with that just a little bit more. But on these straight ones, I want to make sure that it wasn't going to just go and bunch up real bad in the back. But yeah, it is blunt cut and it's really, really dramatic. So yeah, I wanted to start the show with this one on just because it's one of my favorites of the prototypes that have come in recently. It's just so cute.
AW says, yay, glad to hear that it's shorter in the back. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm trying my best to think ahead. Like, what do I want in wigs? Particularly wigs that are at this price point. What would I really be looking for? And that's the sort of stuff I'm keying in on. With that in mind, I wanted to show you some of our new colors that we came out with. These are all of the ones that we either released this week, because we released our Piper wig and some Ambrose colors last week as well. So last week and this week. So I want to show you what those look like on a couple of different wigs. I also want to show you some of the colors that are coming by the end of this month, because they're really cool. And I've been putting this stuff up for a vote up on the community tab here on CysterWigs 2. So I'll try to figure out another poll for potential ideas, and I will put that up on the community tab for next week's live stream. But yeah, 71% of people voted to see all the colors, so we're gonna do that. It's gonna be a party. I'm also going to potentially style these a little bit on camera, not with heat tools, because you know, when I do my heat friendlies, I tend to use a blow dryer a lot, and that can get really noisy. So I'm just going to use some Belle Tress Premium Holding Salon Spray. Some of my Simply Styling stuff. I got some Envy Renew Repair if I think that's the right tool for the gig. I've also got my John Renaud wide tooth comb. The Belle Tress comb works just as well. If I need to, I've got my paddle brush, but I try not to use that on synthetics too often. And I also have a little bit of John Renaud Peace Out contour cream, which is like a miracle on the little flyaways you get on those the ones that have the permatease. They'll get Ainsley in particular with the when you got the heat on and stuff. She does get little flyaways on top, just like a Noriko wig or something like that would. And so this stuff is really great for that. So wanted to tell you what kind of tools I've got in my kit. When this live stream's over, I'll try to add those to the description. So that way, if somebody joins us late and they didn't catch that bit, they can still figure out what I'm using. Because I don't want to have to explain that like every time I use it, because this will last forever. All right, hopefully everyone has their drinks handy or cookies. You know, as I said, we're totally down with partying with cookies too. Even though I have to be careful, I overdid it on Christmas and New Year's, and that did not make me feel super good. So, all right, let's start with this one. This one is one you've already seen, because this is actually a Felix in Peach Bellini R, but I just want to make sure everybody knows that this color has been corrected. when I first, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. Bye, Vaughn. Bye. Boop. Okay, so this is Felix, and I'm gonna talk and put it on at the same time. I'm gonna shake her up. When we first made Felix, I made this color. The factory kind of got their signals crossed, and they made it a little bit too pale. I mean, it still had that peachy undertone, but it was more like a peach blonde as opposed to a peach. This is obviously meant to be a peach color. Now, if you got that original Felix, and I got a mirror next to me, so I'm just gonna turn for a second. If you got that original Felix in that kind of peachy blonde version of this color, the Oops version, if you like that, let our help desk know, because I'm always interested in, you know, making more of things you guys actually want. But I wanted to make sure that if we do that, we're going to call it a different color name, because this is absolutely more close to the swatch. And I want to make sure that we're trying our best to present these as honestly as possible so people don't get confused. So in this case, I'm just kind of fluffing her up. And I will definitely pause for comments, Nigel, when I'm done with this little segment, in case anybody has any questions about this or anything. I'm just kind of fluffing her up a little bit because this one's a wild child. And one of my favorite things to do is, you know, just like Lady Gaga's monster claws, you just kind of tickle the top of the wig a little bit. You can really fluff up that permatease. You know, you don't even have to do it real rough, just kind of go back and forth like you're tickling a child. You know, that's just about the right amount of pressure. You don't want to hurt the kid, you know? I love how much volume you can get with this wig, especially on the sides over here. She's so wild. And I've got some ELO on in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I'm trying to make it so it's undetectable because I don't want to get dinged for copyright on this. But isn't this one darling? And I love this color. It's definitely kind of peachy for sure, hence the name. Truth in advertising, hey. And there's the back on Felix. I don't have a ton of space here today because I've got like wigs all around because I'm trying to take images for Amazon and all this other stuff at the same time. So my apologies that I can't give you a more like graceful 360 view. But there is Felix in Peach Bellini R. Did anybody have any questions about that, Nigel?
All right, let's see what we've got here. A lot of people. Right.
Yeah?
A lot of people saying hi.
Oh, hi!
Kathleen says, excellent, I'm getting this Monday, yippee.
Yay, yeah, this color is so pretty and vibrant. And since, Kathleen, you like that strawberry shortcake, is that what they call it? The one from the Beltress line? Like, this is not that far off. It's not quite as pink, but, and it definitely isn't as highlighted. But
Kathleen suggests white peach.
Oh, that would be a great name for that other color. If you guys do like that, just let our help desk know, because I'm absolutely interested in doing it again if you guys want it. I just don't want it to be misleading.
Christine Negrosa has just finished trimming at my first Felix, and I love the curl pattern.
Yay! Oh, I'm so happy that you guys like it. You know, because it was kind of a risk. She's kind of you know, she doesn't look like all the other styles that are out there right now. There are a couple that come kind of close, like maybe like Breezy Waves, I think is what it's called. But there are a couple out there that are fairly similar, but you know, this I think fills a really nice gap, because I remember there was this one by Gabor, and I can't for the life of me remember the name of it, but it had a very similar shape and a very similar curl pattern. I used to really, really like it. I mean, the model is wearing like a brown wig version. Looks like Liz Taylor hair a little bit. I might sound like I'm rambling. This is what happens when I forget the names of things that are discontinued. I'm a bad wig scholar. Ah. Okay, so this one I wanted to move on to is, I'm going to show you three at the same time because, and they're all on our Bardo wig, by the way. And that's because I think that this color here, this is the Caramel Macchiato. You guys know this one. I wanted to make some different version of colors like this because this one was so popular. Like, this color sells out like crazy. People love it. So I was like, I should create some variations on the theme of the Caramel Macchiato R. So the first thing we did was it's a deconstructed version of the same color, and this is called Millionaire Shortbread R. If you've ever seen a Millionaire Shortbread dessert, it's like a layered dessert where there's like shortbread on the bottom and caramel and chocolate on top. Am I describing this properly, Nigel?
Perfectly.
Okay, because it's kind of an English thing. And so, you know, it's kind of layered in that way. You get the biscuit on the bottom, you get the caramel here, and you get the chocolate on top. So that's why we named it that. But down here, you get all of the blonde shades that are in the caramel macchiato. And you can tell this is a cooler looking color because of all that blonde, because it's kind of a almost a cool blonde. And in fact, here, I'll show the caramel macchiato up close, because this blonde that is in this color is actually a blended blonde. It's got a little bit of honey blonde, and it also has a little bit of like an ashy blonde color in it that helps tone it down so it doesn't just look like a pure auburn, but it's still a pretty warm color overall. I would say this one's more balanced than that, just because you get so much more of that ashy blonde down here at the bottom, but the midsection is virtually identical because the base shade and all those blondes are basically blended together in the midsection. But because you're getting so much blonde, it cools it all down. Hopefully that makes sense. And then up here at the top, we've got that number 8. So let me go ahead and I'll put the caramel macchiato on first, just so that way we can see what that one looks like. Okay. Now Bardo is kind of a mess when you first get her out of the box, or in this case the bag, and that's because she's got that permatease top just like Felix does, and she can get a little bit compressed in shipping. So again, you just kind of want to play with her a little bit, and I might make separate videos at some point about like how to do this, just in case you want to style Bardo along with me. She's looking funny right now.
Still
Yeah.
My Shine says, yes, Team CysterWigs for life. Heart, 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 heart.
Oh, I love you guys. So yeah, you could see here that you could really get some volume out of her. That's why I wanted to put that permatease in there. To me, this was meant to be kind of like, you know, it was inspired a little bit like by Aspen, you know, the original Aspen from Aesthetica before they changed the curl pattern and changed the name. It also kind of reminds me of like Taboo by Ellen Villa, except we put a little bit more permatease in here just because a common complaint with both of those styles can be the lack of volume on top. And we were like, well, if this is going to be an open cap wig, we might as well just do that a little bit. But because she's so compressed, you don't need for her to have a ton of volume when you put her on. She'll be fine in most cases, but for me, I like that little bit of lift. So this is what she looks like in our very, very popular caramel macchiato color. See, it's like almost like an auburn because it's so warm. Gosh, I love this wig. It's so cute. Ooh, I feel very saucy in this one. Now I'm gonna put on this one, which is that Millionaire Shortbread, and she is shedding a little bit, just in full disclosure, but I'm not too concerned about what's coming off of it. It's just been a couple strands so far. Alrighty. I'm gonna put you over here for reference sake. Here is this one now. Remember how fluffy I just got that Bardo? This one is gonna remind you of how compressed she comes, just because this one has not been styled like that. See how minimal the volume is when you don't play with her? And she almost gets like this little bump in the back that's kind of like smushed. So I'm gonna just do the same thing, but just here at the crown. I don't know if you can hear the neighbor's dog, but something's got him very excited. And I'm just tickling the crown. I haven't even broken out any styling equipment yet.
Does Bardo come in chocolate-covered strawberry?
Abso-smurfly she does.
There you go, dude.
Yes. Yeah, no, we're making this one in a whole bunch of colors. And in fact, I even made it in a color that I'm probably not going to sell with the rest of the launch just because I don't like the way that the top turned out. I've also made this one in Tahitian Sunset, but I think I honestly need to root the color to get this wig at that kind of red to marry. I think the permatease on top just looks a little in that unrooted color. And I sent it to some experts who are watching right now, who verified my suspicions on that matter. So thank you to those folks for letting me know. because, you know, I want to make sure you guys actually like think this is a good value. So what we might do with that Tahitian Sunset one is I might sell it as a hat wig on wig closeouts and just be like, hey guys, the top of this is a mess, but it'll look really cute with the hat on it. Here it is for 20 bucks or something like that. Because it's so cute on the bottoms in that Tahitian Sunset color. Like the style at the bottom from like here down, it's so good in that red color. It's so close to perfect. And then you get to the top and you're like, nah. But somebody for 20 bucks might think that that's a really good steal. So we'll probably do that, but after we launch the initial product. I don't want anybody to get it twisted and think the rest of them turned out like that, because these all look pretty good. But yeah, this is that Millionaire's shortbread color. And I didn't really do much of any styling to it. Didn't add any product to it. I just kind of fluffed up the crown area a little bit. So yeah.
Thank you for developing pieces that keep the price point reasonable while still being youthful and stylish, says Geraldine.
Thank you. Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
Sue has just asked me, what is your favorite style on Heather, Nigel? She looks so good in every style. Yes, Sue, I completely agree with you. I think she looks good in just about everything she wears. Hi.
Hi, I noticed how you like completely dropped the bass on that one.
Hello.
You are such a ham. I love you.
Big and salty.
Oh my. Oh, and I want to say thank you to Nigel as well, because he didn't make this drink super, super strong this time. I feel like if I were to drink this much of one of his concoctions, I would be fun, but I don't know if I'd be coherent. So I'm glad that this is actually pretty tame by Nigel standards. But you can kind of see, back to the color, that this is kind of like a Millionaire shortbread. Biscuits, caramel, chocolate. Yum. So I got another color that is kind of like another blondish kind of color. Except this is slightly different, but only slightly. They're all meant to be kind of similar. I was like, what if I did something kind of like caramel macchiato, but instead of making it so auburn, we added some really toned down light brown shades instead, and a little bit of a dark ash blonde. So this is actually what I'm calling South Beach Sands. It's not quite like the Sugarcane R from Noriko, but it's really close. Now it's like if that were just ever so slightly less blonde, then you would have this. But I mean, the color combination and the overall effect is very, very similar. And I wanted to give people kind of an alternative that wouldn't be as warm, just in case people were looking for this kind of really pretty light brown color, but they don't want something that's too dark or too red. This has a little bit of everything under the sun in it. It even has a little bit of ash blonde, particularly here on the sides. So it's just a really pretty kind of subtle highlighted color.
Kelly asks, are there any new grays?
There is. I got a ton of colors coming in this basket, so I gotta move faster, I think. Yeah. But yeah, what's our time?
We're at 18 minutes.
Oh, okay, I'm not doing too bad then. Yeah, we do have a gray. I've got a bunch of different colors. I even got like that hot pink from the thumbnail. That's gonna be the last one because I want to keep you in suspense. But here we go. I just think this is such an easy color to wear. I'm just gonna play with this a little bit because the way that front was laying is a little funky. I'm not actually pulling the hair, by the way, when I do this. I'm using the heat and a little bit of friction on my fingers to kind of tame it. But you don't really want to pull because this is a heat-friendly fiber and they can be really prone to pulling and distortion. I'm gonna pump up this crown area just a little bit. And if you have like carpal tunnel or something and going scrunch, scrunch, scrunch with your fingers hurts, you can always just use a wide tooth comb if you can reach behind your head. If not, you can always style the wig on a mannequin head or something. And just really gentle back combing action there a little bit. So yeah, this is South Beach Sands. And we're going to make this one on a whole bunch of styles. I believe we're even making this one in Piper too, I think. But we're definitely making this one on Ambrose. And
Bardo is just perfect, says Susie. The layers are very well done, just so stinking gorgeous.
thank you. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Susie. This is one I'm really fond of because I love these mid-lengths. I think they're really flattering and feminine and kind of flirty. So just again, one more time for reference. This was the Millionaire Shortbread. You know, you can see how they're kind of similar. They're friends. They're like cousins. And here's their other warmer cousin color, the Caramel Macchiato. So there you go. And those have all been on the same wig, so you can kind of tell them apart. Because my fear was that if I didn't show these off, people might get them kind of confused just because they're all kind of in that light brown family of colors. But they're definitely different. Does anybody have any questions about any of those?
Let's see. Right, here we go. How about a longish, unrooted gray, kind of martini-ish?
Unrooted is difficult with some of these wigs because the unrooted colors really make the cap constructions look a little naked because these are really not fancy at all. Now, as I progress into fancier cap constructions and things with more monofilament, maybe later next year, I don't know, it depends on the financial situation and whatnot. But not to bore you with those details, we will be able to do more of those unrooted color combinations once we have more hand-tied features. They just really don't look that great in some of, and this is not exclusive to just my wigs. I mean, I've had similar experiences with like basically every brand I carry in their unrooted light blonde colors and their light grays, or anything that's predominantly that but doesn't have a root. The tops of the wigs can get a little bit naked. So until we get fancy with it, we're gonna stick to stuff like this.
Ruth says, are there going to be new shades that do not have a darker root, more like a 12?
We do have several that aren't, like for example, I got this one here and the root's a 10, but I'm jumping the gun here. But yes. And technically the root on Harlow Blonde's a 14. So.
Is Bardo left parted, says Kelly.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
All right, so, because I had to think for a second, I was like, where was that? And it was over here. All right, this is Ambrose, and this one is, I told everybody about this last year. This is actually the Smoke Show R. This is the rooted version of the X Smoke Show color that I came out with last year. If they both catch on, I'll make both of them. But I really just want to see which one everybody likes more. So we will probably do the same thing with this that we did with the other gray, where we'll put it on wig closeouts so you guys can kind of like feel a little bit more secure buying it at like a super cheap price and kind of being my taste testers and letting me know what you think of this. But this is the rooted version of that color, and we try to be real slick about it. You can tell here on the sides, we actually didn't root this white in the front to kind of keep it from being harsh in the front. And we felt that was a safe bet because this particular wig shouldn't really be styled off the face anyway. So as long as you make sure that the bangs are down and that these parts up here are down, you should be fully covered. So, you know, I tried to make a concession there so it wasn't completely 100% rooted all the way to the front because I didn't want that really dark hairline to kind of mess with the style. But yeah, it's still really dramatic. I wanted it to be dramatic, and in fact I really love these kind of bold gray colors.
A lot of people loving it. Terrific gray, beautiful gray. Whoa, I like it. Wendy says, I don't do grays, but this is beautiful.
Oh, yay!
Jerry says, beautiful blend. Bama Hunter says, that's nice. And Wendy says, great color placement.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Love that gray rooted Ambrose. Cute.
Oh, excellent. Well, so you can see I am trying to think of a whole bunch of different colors. Basically anything you guys really seem to like, then I try to develop more of it. So I got this one, and I don't really have much else to add to it aside from to tell you the kind of colors that are in here. The bulk of the darker gray color that you see is kind of like a 44, which is like a traditional salt and pepper with a predominantly dark brown base. And then on the top, it also has a dark brown root, but it's a short root. It is not a long root. And again, the front hairline is not rooted. And then the front, you can see that we have kind of like, it's not quite a 56 because it's a little bit more of like a charcoal, almost like a fashion gray color, but you've got that. And then you've also got like a 60 here in the front and on the side. So that's it. The 60 makes it that pop of white. And it is not highlighted in the same way all the way around, which I want to show you too. It is slightly darker in the back, kind of like a graduate gray. The difference though between this and the X Smoke Show was that the X Smoke Show did not have any of the white tones, you know, kind of like in a highlight fashion here on the sides and back here. This one does. It's a little bit softer because it incorporates a little bit more of those. So it isn't quite as dramatic a transition from the front to the back, whereas on the X Smoke Show, it's really dramatic, the front to the back. And that's what the back color looks like, in case you were curious.
Maggie has a question. What about small, short hairs of permatease poking up if it's laying down more flat?
You mean like on Ambrose? Because Ambrose doesn't have permatease.
These are flashing by so quickly.
Yeah.
I find it... And you're going so quickly.
Yeah, because I got a ton of colors to get through.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry so much about responding to people's comments in there. Just make sure that when I pause, you can tell me if anybody's saying anything, because I can't see anything on my screen at all. Because for one, I've got 3 gigantic lights right in my eyeballs. But yeah, so all right. Well, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Let's see. Oh, this one. You know what? Since I just showed the this in a preview to you a little bit. This is actually another Vaughn, and this color is called Illuminati R. It is not like the Illumina R. I actually named it after our YouTube channel I really like, but I spelled it differently so that way it wouldn't be completely terrible. But yeah, this is a really beautiful platinum. Platinum, 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 platinum. Like, it is not ashy. It's kind of like very pale cream beige at platinum, but it's definitely got a cool ashy tint to it, right? It just doesn't look gray, but very, very, very cool color. Very pale, almost pure white, except slightly beige. And then the root color on this is a 10, which is kind of like a light ash brown color, like a light to medium ash brown.
You get a lot of sparkly hearts and I heart smiley faces for this one, you know.
Yay! I love this color so freaking much. Like, it's so fun. And it looks really good on Vaughn here. The inspiration for this color was the original wig that we used to cut this into it was actually a whiteout by Hairdo, so we just made the root lighter. But it's a very similar color to that one. We just made it, well, it's also a little bit less white, whereas whiteout is white. This has kind of got that little bit of a beige undertone, so that way it isn't harsh. But you can really tell compared to like the little skunkies on my shirt, or even if I hold up this little guy, you can really see that's white. This is really close, super close, but this has a little bit more blue to it than this does.
Which model is this one again?
This is Vaughn.
This is Vaughn.
This is Vaughn. This is my graduated blunt cut lob. And this is what the top looks like. She does have a little bit of permatease, but I'm not going to fluff this one because I actually think that she looks really cute when you just kind of leave her flat. You just got to keep in mind she might get that kind of like be like this where she's like a taco, you know, and then she'll take on that shape. But it's really easy to just, you know, take a hair dryer and go foomp, foomp, foomp with the hair dryer and just gently hold the warm, it doesn't have to be hot, it just has to be a little warm hair in the back, and that will really help shape it. Because remember, it's not the heat itself that does the styling. It just makes the fiber. It's not like you're styling a human hair wig or something like that. It's, you just want to warm up the fiber just enough so you can mold it with your hand. So it doesn't have to be super hot. It just has to be warm enough. So you could even do this on your head if you wanted to. But I wouldn't recommend using a styro head. Styro heads and any heat tools are usually a bad idea, but a canvas block head or something would be fine. Or, you know, because it's just a regular hair dryer, you're not supposed to hold it on there forever, so you could do it with it on your head as long as you don't mind going like that the whole time. But just kind of gently mold it And I might make a video about that if it becomes an issue where people, you know, may not like the wigs because they come with that little bump in the back. But I hope that if I just explain how easy it is to fix that, people will still think this is a good deal. Oh, let me show you the back of this real quick before I go so you can really see how blunt this is back here. Like, I didn't know of another wig on the market that was cut like this. So I figured we should just do that because it's so fun, and the fact that it's so short in the back, I think, makes it really easy to wear. It just kind of looks ultra chic and like it'd be a pain to take care of. But it's not hard at all to detangle the front of a wig, particularly if you make sure that your, you know, purse strap and stuff doesn't get stuck in it. So I can't stop playing with it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention about this color on this wig, because this wig is so poker straight, the texture is just really poker straight and blunt. We gave this a semi-yaki texture. So when you get it, you're going to realize, hey, this, I mean, it still feels really luscious. Like I can run my fingers through it, no problem. But it's going to feel a little bit like a drier, almost textured fiber. And that is to prevent it from becoming super reflective. This color will be really, really reflective if you make it in a silky textured fiber. So I want it to look as natural as possible. And I thought that by adding that little bit of texture to it, I mean, I've got a ton of lights on this and it's barely shining at all. So I think the effect has been achieved. So awesome. Let me go ahead and put you back.
So Kuigar Serene.
What does that mean?
Means, so you're still alive. It's a greeting in Mandoa.
Are they surprised that the Mando is still alive?
No, that's a standard Mandalorian greeting. Instead of hello, how are you? How you doing? So you're still alive. Donna says, Heather, you are so engaging. First time here. Love your styles and presentations. Mostly lurking, but just so encouraged to jump into this wig scene.
Oh, hooray! Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for the feedback. Oh my goodness. Oh, this one, people seem to really like the pinks, so I started to make a whole bunch of interesting thematically pink variation colors. So I made two different versions of a pink blonde. So this one, I'm naming it after a Nicki Minaj song. It's going to be called Barbie Dreams because it is a really pretty kind of very soft kind of golden wheat blonde that has, well, frankly, it's easy for me to show you what color the highlights are. They're this colored highlights. This is foreshadowing. But this is actually our bubblegum pop blonde, which is very similar, except, I mean, literally the exact same colors, except here it is a base shade with a highlight, or in this case, the pink would be almost like low light because it's a darker color. And then here it's a stacked color on the bubblegum pop blonde. So this wig that I'm wearing is Grayson. And this is it right out of the box. So she's got a little, not box bag, but she's got a little bit of taco head from being compressed in the packaging. But she still looks really nice. Like, I'm not even mad at how flat this is, but just know you can use heat styling tools on this, and just something as simple as a blow dryer really makes a huge difference. And if you want more volume, she does have permatease in her, just like Felix does. Though, you know, she's very similar to something like Jackson by Noriko, but Jackson by Noriko is very round on top. So that's really a big difference between this wig and that one. That and this cap is way more accommodating. Noriko wigs tend to fit me really, really tight to the point where they give me headaches. So I want to make sure that, you know, when I made something similar, I wasn't going to make it so small. So if you find that my wigs are too big on you, that might be the way to go. Check out the Noriko Jackson.
Okay, so what is this style and color called again?
This is Grayson, and the color is called Barbie Dreams. Because I tend to get sick of the food names, so unless it's a situation where, like, you know, Millionaire Shortbread was pretty perfect for how that color looks, so I went with that. But I think that we've all seen a bajillion food names, and I wanted to name this something a little bit different. I like kitsch, so might as well. I mean, not that you couldn't tell by my skunk thematic attire. I tend to like themes. But yeah, I'm just gonna play with this permatease just a smidge. But again, she doesn't have as much permatease on her as something like any Noriko wig, basically, with the exception of Robin. Robin and this wig have very comparable amounts of permatease, actually. But I love the front of this. I love the way it looks in this, and that's why I actually made this in this blonde first instead of making it in the bubblegum pop blonde. And for this month, for January, when this comes in, this will be the only style we offer in this color for now. We're making more later on, but we're just kind of testing it out to see if you guys like it. But again, this is Barbie Dreams.
Joan says, I might have missed it, but could you please show the inside of this wig?
Sure. Oh, goodness. All right. Happy little tag. Hello. Yes, so the top of this wig is felt right at the front hairline for comfort. She is permateased on top, so you get that rose lace on top. She has felt on the ear tabs, which are slightly under knotted. We've also got hook adjusters here in the back. I haven't adjusted them, but yeah, we have hook adjusters back here. Elastic. There's a little bit of netting in the back just to kind of help me keep the cost down. And then, yeah, that's it. That's what the top of her looks like. And of course, if you want more volume, all you have to do is play with her a little bit. I love the way that this blonde base shade looks with that pink though. It's super cute. But definitely not what I would consider like a pastel pink. It's definitely more of like a dark rose color. There you go. All right, let's take a look at the Bubblegum Pop Blonde. So you can see what that looks like by contrast. And this is on another Bardo. Because we didn't make this one on Grayson yet. But this is Bubblegum Pop Blonde. You can see it looks, I thought that this one would be a really pretty one for Bardo because you can really see the layering really well with this kind of color. I also made this one for Ambrose, and that is for sale right now. So if you like this color, you can get her on Ambrose right now. Anybody commenting anything, Nigel?
Oh, tons of stuff.
Lay it on me.
Right. Liz saying beautifully made. Jonah saying super cute. Cheryl White saying gorgeous. Dawn Worley says, too grey, blonde, old to wear dark rooted colours, but love it with them pinks. Great look, wish I could wear them, I'd have them all. Dana Bravo says, love, I was just hunting for Jackson, alt burgundy, etc. I predict I will have a lot of Grayson, says Mary.
Yay! Yeah, I'm trying to make Grayson, by the way, in colors that are not the sort of thing that Noriko would typically put out. I'm going to put this in a couple of normal looking colors, obviously, but I want most of them to be kind of like really unique to what we do here. But yeah.
Kathleen says, I have this and love it. Gorgeous Bardo.
Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Isn't like your profile picture this? I think...
she mentioned that earlier.
Yeah! Awesome, awesome.
Jessica Merrill says, Heather, you look beautiful and everything, and I agree with her completely.
Oh.
Pen Lady 5, Heather, is there a reason you like the very long roots? Would there be any disadvantage to having some unrooted colors?
Well,
good question.
Yes, and I answered that earlier, but yes, the cap construction can get really naked on like really open cap, because here's the deal. Like, if you want the wig to be really covered up on top, you have to do like one of three things, generally speaking. You have, when it's open cap like this, you either have to add more permatease, you have to add more hair, or you have to add a root that will help obscure that a little bit. And, you know, if you add too much hair, the wig gets really heavy and it starts to feel like a hot basket on your head. It gets really uncomfortable. If you add too much permatease, which is what I tried to do with this wig on the Tahitian Sunset, then the issue is you end up having so much permatease that it's hard to cover it up with the limited amount of hair that's on top of the wig. So it becomes kind of gross looking on top. Which is why if we do end up selling those Tahitian Sunsets in the unrooted version, we'll probably sell them specifically as hat wigs at a very, very deep discount, because I don't want people to think that the rest of these Bardos turned out like that, because on these we didn't have to put that much permatease on them because the rooting is doing most of the heavy lifting of obscuring the cap construction on top.
Jerry Scott says, is Bardo similar to Taboo?
Yeah, it's very similar to Taboo. I would say that this one probably has more permatease, a little bit more hair, and has none of the monofilament features at all, because that was one of my biggest beefs with Taboo, was that Taboo has this like little tiny sliver of a lace front that makes no sense. And I felt like, you know, we could probably make something at a much lower price point where you're not being charged for a superfluous cap feature that's really hard to use.
Right.
Maybe that's a bit too honest. I don't know.
Follow-up question is: so do you design some wigs with shorter roots?
Absolutely. A lot of the colors on Piper, for example, have a 1-inch root as opposed to a 2-inch root. It just depends on the wig, and it depends on the color, and it depends on the effect we're trying to achieve.
All right. Let's see. Cassandra Wright says, you look so happy. That's wonderful. So happy for you. And Liz says, I'm thrilled that you made a rooted ravens and roses.
Oh, thank you. I love that color. That color is so fun. And it looks good on basically all of the styles, which tells me that that's a winner. I think there's a reason why that color always seems to sell out. So, all right.
T-Web says, will you ever make a mid-price wig? One in the price range of hairdo with a mono part?
Yeah, some I would very much like to. It's just a matter of getting the funds together to do it. Like we don't have like money for this. It's basically one of those things where, you know, if people buy it, I keep making it. So it's like the inverse of if they build it, they will come or whatever. Like people are buying these, I then make more of them, and then I just keep doing more and pushing more boundaries and exploring that territory more as we go. But those wigs with a lot of hand-tied features have a lot more quality control issues. They, you know, they have a lot more, and the lead time for production is a lot longer, like a lot longer. It can be, you know, up to a year in some cases because you know, pandemic. Yeah, cha-cha. So that is, that's that. So until that changes, we're going to stick to machine made. And that way I can actually like turn these over really quickly because the price point is low, and then I can make even more, and I can just keep building and building and building until we have an empire of hair. So much hair. And ultimately, I know this is a complete tangent, but one thing that my business partner and I are talking very sincerely about is maybe starting a nonprofit specifically to like fund like a grant for a university student or somebody like that to try to come up with a way to recycle synthetic hair. Right now, there is no viable way to recycle synthetic hair, and it's non-biodegradable. So I thought, you know, that would be a really nice thing to couple with what we're doing with our own products, is basically like put that on the table. When we have enough money to do something like that, let's do something like that, because I think that that's something that everybody who buys synthetic wigs, whether they're buying mine or somebody else's, could really benefit from. It ends up sitting in a closet where nobody wears it when you're done wearing it. You know what I mean? Like after you get your 3 to 6 months of use out of it, you could give it to a friend, but then what does that friend do with it when they can't wear it anymore? Right? And then that becomes kind of a question we all need to ask ourselves after a while. So not to be a super Debbie Downer, but just know my eye is on that too. Like eventually, if my wig line takes off, I would really love to do something like that and like throw like a grant at a university kid or something and be like, make this your thesis, now do it, you know? And then he could be he or she or they or they, whatever, could be, you know, helping us with our recyclability issue, which is a pretty existential issue in this industry, I think. So
right, so you're getting a lot of support for that idea.
Oh, awesome.
AW says polymerized extrusion, carpet manufacturing.
Yeah, something. There's got to be some way. I mean, they managed to take tires and turn it into like play turf on kids, you know, playgrounds. So there has to be something that can be done with these, one would think.
Liz suggests make the mono part a center so we can put it off to the right or left.
Well, that's only if you make it really big, and those big monofilament parts can be very expensive.
T-Web says, I would help pay and campaign for you to get one like that from you.
That's awesome. Well, let's see how these do first, and then we'll circle back to, you know, expanding into different cap constructions maybe in the middle of the year, because that kind of thing would require us to find a different factory and all kinds of stuff. So it's not an easy peasy process. And frankly, if I'm being really upfront with you, the existing brands that we carry would probably not be super stoked with me being too aggressive about venturing into that particular territory. So I want to make sure that I'm proceeding with sensitivity at all times when I do that sort of thing. But yes, I'm very open to it. I'm gonna move on to this color, which is basically like, you know what we did with Barbie Dreams? Well, this is kind of like that. This is the chocolate covered strawberry R color, and this is on another Bardo. Now, this is really similar to something like Redwood that comes on Taboo, just like this is really similar to the Rose Blonde that comes on Taboo. But it's still different. Like, I wanted to tweak it a little bit. So in this case, this has a little bit of the caramel macchiato blended in with kind of like a medium brown, like a 6. Pardon. And then we also have the Rose Blush R as a highlight all over this wig. And it's blended all throughout. So it has that really soft pastel pink in there. And it's meant to be intentionally subtle. Like, you might not even notice that it's pink until you get right up on it, and you can actually see that, oh, that's pink in there. And that's what we were aiming for there. With the Barbie Dreams, people are going to see that pink. They're going to see it pop because it's a much more vibrant, bright pink. If I hold these up next to each other, you can see that this is not a bright pink that is in here. It's kind of like a pastel, almost like a gray pink color.
Marnie says this actually looks like it has more dimension than Rosewood.
Thank you.
I love Rosewood, but this color is beautiful.
That was the goal. We added that additional color on top so that instead of it being just like a medium brown, it's got kind of a medium brown swirled up with that caramel macchiato, which warms it up a little bit. Here, let me put this one on. Boop-de-doo, doop-de-boo. But yeah, oh, this is so easy. Like, aside from this one little stray hair that keeps wanting to get stuck in my lip gloss, which always happens. I'm not even gonna be mad at the wig. Yeah, oh wow. This one didn't take much effort at all. There we go. Outdoors for some photo shoots, so because of that, I don't think I have to fluff it up quite as much. I think it may have been played with a little bit on top because it's already a little bit softened up.
John's just wondering what the weight of the wig is.
That will be on the listing. I don't know off the top of my head, but we will include all that information on the products when we list them on the site. But yeah, this is chocolate covered strawberry. And I wanted to show this one right next to it. I've already showed this one off in Have I Got Nudes For You video, which I filmed another one of those earlier today, featuring a Lancome palette I really like. So I'll be trying to edit that probably this week. But this is Ainsley in chocolate icing, so I wanted to show you the difference between the two in case you were torn. This one definitely has a little bit of that caramel macchiato color on the top. And then down here at the bottom, it's that nice medium brown, but it also has like ashy blonde, like cool ash blonde all throughout there as well. So while it has similar colors in it to the chocolate covered strawberry is actually a lot more subtle because that really pale icy platinum on top pops on top of this chocolate icing R. It's very similar to the chocolate frost R from Noriko. I would say it's probably not as dramatic though, because that color, the different tones are a little bit more dramatic. All of them are because it's a non-heat friendly color. But there's that chocolate covered strawberry.
Cassandra, I wanted to point this out. You were talking about wigs and not being able to remember the weight off the top of your head. Wigs, puns.
Yay! Ah, points. Points for that.
Like when my buddy John when my buddy John didn't realize he talked about getting land dirt cheap.
Oh, so on the nose. So good. See, I love wholesome dad jokes. Oh, even unintentional ones. They're all good.
They're sometimes the best.
Yeah. Well, they're the ones even little kids in the room can get down with.
Yeah.
That's awesome. This is on Ainsley, as I mentioned, so I just wanted to put this on again so you could see what a more dramatic brunette but definitely more of a brunette. Brunette, there's not a whole lot of red or anything, just a little bit of warmth from that caramel macchiato on top here. But it's really subtle because it's like a really small section highlight. And then the root on this one, someone was asking about short roots. The roots on this one are very short. Very short rooting, just enough to obscure that permatease. So we did try to like hone in on that depending on the style and the look we were trying to achieve and what we thought would look best on these. So I'm gonna go to the last one because I'm really excited to show this to you. This is so bright you could see it from space, I swear. Hey Nigel, honey.
Just a second. We've got a question. Do you have one in the works with more red like Irish spice or nutmeg?
We might at some point. I've got a lot of different prototypes coming back and forth. Right now I'm just trying to perfect getting the Tahitian sunset to look right on some of these. Since I've already developed that color, I already really like it. I just need to find a version of it that's rooted that I think will work well. I think maybe like a 33 on it or something would look really nice, but I got to kind of play around and see that. But that's first on my agenda, and then I'll get to other reds. So honey, when you're done answering that particular comment, go stop answering people.
Yeah.
And go to the end of the comments thread.
Yeah.
So that way, when I'm ready to take questions, you have some.
Right.
So there we go. I want to show you this. This is Magenta Melt. I wanted to make one that wasn't pastel. This is not a pastel color at all. Obviously, like it's literally super, super bright. I don't even know if all of the color in this color is showing up on camera, but I'll try to describe it. The root is like a 1B. It's really dark and it melts into what I can only describe as like really, really bright magenta. It's got purple, it's got hot pink, it's got a little red, and I mean it's all up in here. And then it melts into just pure, bright, crazy, hot pink. I mean, the hot pink is super, super hot pink. It is like, oh my gosh, you could wear this on a jog and no one would miss you. Like, or no one would miss you. No one would hit you. Like, there would be no way that they wouldn't see you. Like, you're just, it's just so happy and fun. So I gotta put this on. Now, this is one of those colors where I was like, I don't know if this is going to work with my skin tone or not, but I frankly don't care. I don't even care if it clashes with this sweater. I needed to have it.
Your viewers are offering to fight each other for it.
It's just so fun, you know? And it just change of pace from all of these like pastels that are barely colorful at all. Like, I like my pastels to look like the color they're supposed to be. And, you know, like if my Moonlit Orchid is seen in low light, I still want it to look kind of purple. And it's the same thing with, you know, any of the colors I develop. I want them to be like fun, like conversation pieces almost. But yeah, I love how this color turned out. This is like my teenage fantasy of what I wish my hair would have looked like.
Ha! Serene says, Nigel, first rule about wig fight club.
Well, quite. And now that I'm ending the show with an Ambrose, you can see that Ambrose is actually a lot more voluminous than a lot of these other styles, because when it came to the wigs like Bardo and whatnot, because we're using permatease in the cap, we didn't have to put as much hair on them. So they're actually lighter weight, lower density styles. Ambrose is quite voluminous. She's got a lot of hair on her. So if you bought Ambrose and you're like, this has too much hair, our other styles might still be appealing to you because, you know, the trade-off with that permatease in the cap was that we could keep the weight down. But this one's definitely going to be a little bit heavier just because instead of permatease, we gave her a lot more hair because we wanted to get this effect where she's kind of like swingy and happy. And that's what the top of this one looks like. I'm going to see if getting closer helps all the colors pick up because it's just so, so crazy bright. I love this one. And so here is that little color thingy again, so you can kind of see white up against it. See that little bit of purple in the middle compared to the rest of it? So good. Just so good. So, do we have any questions, honey?
Can we leg wrestle for it? Let's see. I want to dress head to foot in that combo. Let's see here. Would love the root to be shaded plum.
Ooh.
We've had questions about other colors, but I've said hang on that.
Yeah.
We're working on those.
Oh, I saw something pop up where someone said teal. I'm working on a moon kitty color. I really am, and I'm working on various prototypes, and I have a lot of images kind of saved in a lookbook, so I'm working on it. I don't want it to be like straight teal, because just a regular plain teal would look very costumey. Just like with this, if I just made the whole wig hot pink, I think that wouldn't look quite as... I don't know. I mean, you got to be careful not to go too one note, I think, with the really vibrant colors. They have to have something to them that kind of changes their appearance somehow as you move, or else they can look like something you bought from Party City. And I don't want these to look like something you bought from Party City. You know, we can get perilously close to that edge, but I don't necessarily want to cross it.
Wendy says, are you planning this color for Felix and Piper, please?
Yeah, eventually. I don't know if this one will work super well on the really shorty doos. I'll have to play around because, I mean, we got to figure out some way to get that melted effect, and sometimes on the really short styles that won't work. I think this will look really great on Ainsley, though. And so I've got another one called Honor that I'm developing that I think will look really pretty in this kind of color, because she's a little longer in the front than she is in the back, but I'm willing to keep an open mind and test things out.
Are there any new styles coming in my favorite color, faded denim?
Yeah, Grayson is coming in faded denim. I'm trying to think of what other ones. I think Vaughn might be, but I'd have to check. I've got all these things on spreadsheets at this point because it's impossible for me to keep it straight. And it gets more impossible with every year that goes by. But, you know, that's more of a testament to getting old in my memory than anything else. It's like I take supplements and stuff. It's just, it still seems to get a little worse every year.
Did you do any for Piper in this one around, Heather?
In which color?
In this particular, any color in this particular broadcast? Yeah,
Piper is coming in... oh gosh, I don't actually want to talk about that without having it literally in front of me. Okay. Because I mean, this is a lot of coordination for me. And what you may not realize is I'm on hour, like, what, 12?
Something like that.
Of work today. So yeah, and I got more to do when we're done with this live stream. So I am not in a position to be able to say that, but Nigel might be able to look it up. But it's on the website, whatever ones came in that, and then whatever ones are coming. So don't ask me any more questions about what's coming, Nigel, because the answer will be...
I'm fielding a lot of those.
Yeah, because the answer will be the same. I won't know without looking at my spreadsheet, and I would literally have to look at that spreadsheet to tell you, because this is a lot of work with all the back and forth with the factories and stuff like that. And unlike a lot of the companies that I sell, like Noriko and stuff like that, they've got a huge staff of people that does all that stuff. I got a me. So yeah, if I tried to do all that and keep it all straight in my head, I would probably end up in a loony bin. So again, I like to get perilously close to that edge without going over. It's like The Price is Right. So anything else, honey?
I think that's about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope that you guys had fun on today's little party. I will try to think of something to poll you guys with for next week. So we'll meet here at the same wig time, same wig channel. And thank you guys for hanging out in my little like maiden voyage of live streams here on CysterWigs 2. So thank you. Have a great night, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.